Greetings Metanthropes, and welcome to another Metanthropes Anthologies Kickstarter campaign live stream. I'm your host and editor John, and today is all about lore, and especially our Aether Zine and Aether Zine part of ZineQuest, as if Metanthropes Anthologies has 3 zines. One of them we shall cover today, and it's all about epic sci-fi stories. So if you're here to hear about Gestalt alien hive minds and clashing with the omnipowered Metanthropes, you came just to the right place. If you're watching this on YouTube, please consider liking and subscribing. There is a lot of content going on. We still have 9 days, almost a week left for our campaign. We are 70% on close to our goal, as you can see over here, and this is a live stream, so anything you type beneath me shall appear to the box, to the magic black box, and everything and every live pledge shall be here witnessed by myself going crazy and recorded for eternity. So please consider supporting our campaign, and let's talk about Metanthropes Anthologies lore, specifically Aether. So Metanthropes Anthologies is 3 worlds, 3 zines, and 3 premium modules for Foundry VTT, and it sends players to missions across the multiverse, unraveling the mythos and discovering the extraordinary within. Each zine introduces its own immersive world, a new setting, and a mind-blowing dimension, Aether, Astral, and as for today's special occasion, Aether. You can combine all 3 zines to form a non-linear saga promising hours, dozens of hours, not just hours, dozens of hours of storytelling with you and your friends, and it's a multiversal story unlike no other. Our quick start is out for grabs, free download. Check it out to see our style and aesthetics. Thank you QP for reminding me, and let us begin with our beautiful narration. Sit back again, relax, enjoy yourselves, and allow me to take you to places far far in the future. Witness a future yet unformed, a multiversal mission set in the far future in a distant exoplanet. There and then, you stand at the climax of an epoch, as 2 cosmic forces clash for absolute control of an entire timeline to become the singularity. On one side of the chessboard, the Conquer Master Samsiel, a testament to Metanthrope potential, or a cautionary tale of what unchecked metapowered entities may become. On the other side, an unstoppable force of nature, a phytomorphic alien hive mind spreading across solar systems, assimilating all organic life in its wake. In this apocalyptic battlefield, the Technocrates faction sends you to an alien world where the very flora and fauna turn against you. Explore bizarre and hazardous environments, encounter massive leviathans, living holograms, and remnants of human technology and civilization. Learn the true scale of power, witness the celestial wonders and the cosmic horrors that threaten to fracture the factions and scatter dissonance across the cosmic symphony. So that is a premise, and I have a hell of a way to begin today's live stream. Today we will talk about the Aether dimension itself. We shall talk about the centerfold character of this story, the overpowerful concert master Samsiel. It's a tentacle lady, in case you're seeing the promotional videos or pictures. And we're gonna explore a little bit about the Technocrates faction which is behind this mission, and further develops the world building and mythos of Metanthropes. And last, we shall enter spoiler territory which I will go through the experience I already had playing twice now, this with an alpha at least playtest group, and an actual play that you can see on YouTube by RX Oliver, giving the links on the live chat right now. And yeah, last part is spoiler territory. At any point it's live Q&A, you can ask me anything. And did that appear on the screen? There you go. And yeah, let's begin talking about the Aether dimension, which is a very important part of this. Whoopsie daisy, sorry, some technical stuff. There you go, I'm ready. Aether dimension. So the dimension known as the dimension of what will be, but it's not made yet. It's a temporal realm that exists in the future of this timeline, of the timeline you're on. Everything in Aether is something that does not persist, apologies, that does not presently exist in the material dimension, but will in the future. This could be wandering, unborn souls, so everyone who hasn't been born exists in the Aether. Structures and buildings and items not yet constructed or built, so if something is building up, it exists in Aether. And even the ideas, blueprints, notions yet not conceived, theorems, eureka moments, all those concepts may exist in various forms in Aether as floating, aspiring ideas, or even as incarnations of concepts, full-blown, overpowered NPCs in the form of extra-dimensional entities. The Aether dimension is composed of Aether multiplying layers. If you were with us in the Nether livestream, we also talked about the leathers of Neyer. The leathers of Neyer. Damn it! The layers of Nether. Jesus, someone clipped this. And and the deeper you go, you travel essentially further into the past. But it's finite, the number of the layers of Nether that exist, since we know that's a very finite, distinct point in space and time where time begins. This is where it all begins. So it's like a waterfall. Imagine this is Nether. But if we go above the present, imagine like a huge waterfall coming from many possible directions of white waters of Aether, and it's symbolizing possible outcomes, ripples of possibilities of what may happen. So this time, in this case, in Aether, the layers take you higher, and each one symbolizes a particular point in like a temporal point. The further up you go, the further in time you go. One layer could lead into minutes of the future, where the highest can be millennia, myriads of millennia into the future. There is theoretically no limit to the layers of Aether up until the inevitable doom end of a single timeline, whether that would be black holes merging or the great convergence, the other one that the universes go so far apart, everything turns black and cold. There are many ways that the universe can end, and when that happens, it's the end of Aether as well, as there will be no more flow of these white waters washing down. Many Metanthropes visit the Aether to draw inspiration of the shape of things to come, prepare for possible outcomes, and gaze upon the new environments and notions, and pick up on the notions that come to the masses. Those who briefly visited see it as a heaven, no harm can come or all wounds heal eventually, but those who know better approach it with caution and are aware of the futures of linking into the future for far too long. So again, it's a polar opposite to the nether dimension. The higher you go, the following things happen. You start to feel a weightlessness. You become light as feather, so you can travel much faster. So even a simple hope that you can make can send you flying. You feel heat as everything is heating up. Even if you are in the middle of Antarctica, if the layer is far into the future, you will feel extreme heat. Even though the ice mountains won't be melting around you, unless they are doomed to melt in the future in the timeline, which I think like most icebergs unfortunately are. And as for game mechanics, when you are about to activate something that's a focused action and take much of your time, it happens actually, again with the Nether. I'm not gonna go to the full game mechanics because I want to work on them a little bit more, but since we are in a lore livestream, continuing with how the narrators can explain to their players the senses once you cross the threshold and you visit the Aether dimension. So depending on the layer of the Aether, everything is perceived differently. The prime characteristic is a glimmering light that covers everything, reflecting as if you are inside of a pool with lights on, and you look around you, that's like a light crazy reflecting everywhere, like light inside liquid essentially. And those ripples that might not be visible too much when you enter like the first layers, might be like a slight optical illusion, can be like vast milestones of possibilities the further you go into the future. And these white waters that come and wash away, what I can tell you most definitely about the mechanics is that consider them like a wave of counterspell. What I mean by this is that these white waters wash away all durations. That means if you have active effects that have like a determined duration, let's say like few rounds, ongoing duration, when you become washed by those waters, it ends. So it's difficult, it offers much possibilities. But on the other hand, the further you are inside Aether, all the conditions bestowed upon you and inflicted upon you wither away faster, run the duration, should I say, faster. So if you have like a broken bone, which is supposed to heal in 6 months, if you go to if you go into a layer of Aether that's up to 6 months ahead, the bone will be in its place and you have healed, giving interesting both mechanics and narrative tools to play with. There's also something interesting that sounds differently depending on the layer you are. Instead of the echo that we have in Aether, have something like charging up sound before it reaches your actual ears. And the louder the sound, the more it charges. So for example, if I want to say hey, hello to you, maybe you would hear hey, not this echo. It's again difficult to do without preparation, but like in the roleplay, but just charge up your voice like hey. It's like a silly example, but it's a starting point. And then imagine that a huge explosion will happen. The sound will start building and building up until it reaches an echophonic level equal up to the level of the actual explosion. So you will know that something will explode or something or collapse, even though you might not even see it happening yet. Again, interesting possibilities. And this passive, and the higher layer you go, this passive simmering light becomes radiant, near blinding glow that engulfs everything, and all those ripples shift intensely due to the various possibilities and probabilities of the future. So witnessing events in Aether doesn't make you a guarantee fortune teller, as if they are reflections of a possibility, not what will definitely happen. One wave may show future city, the next a land annihilated by a calamity. In those higher layers, visitors feel so weightlessness, and even a misstep can lead them to much different time, a much different future than they expect. Let's talk about the environment and the actual mechanics of Aether. So, there's oxygen, much like Nether. You can breathe normally. You mentioned the temperature gain hotter the higher you go, and yes, seasons change now. So can I. Season change normally in Aether corresponding to the layer that you are upon. You find yourself into, and the most important part, I should say, is that everything that will be constructed around you changes depending on the layer. So imagine like a high stakes chasing in Aether, where you in material dimension you are in material dimension and you start climbing like in construction you are the a stair, and then entering the Aether, but you know there is no top layer. No, the construction people have not yet built it, but then you enter Aether and you can step upon it because now you find the platform because it's going to be built in like X amount of weeks. So with that in mind, depending on the landscape, if it's a landscape that's bound to change drastically, whether that will be from building something or destroying something, like a city about to be razed by an earthquake. And playing between the layers of Aether, you can do wondrous stuff with the environment. We mentioned that movement is affected the higher you go, so it might make you, weightlessness doesn't mean like you're faster in this game. As like in physics means that you weight less, and this gives you other properties, which means you will suck at grappling when you are so light. Just for the record, again, mechanics. And we talked about your life being healed. So at the beginning of at the end of each round that you spend in Aether, again, some mechanics, I will twink those next following months with your feedback, developing those dimensions and those 3 anthology scenes. And so you're getting healed, like auto-healing over time just by being there, including the passing of the conditions upon yourself, whether that will be the broken bone or whatever, as I mentioned earlier. And now, most importantly, death cannot occur in Aether. You cannot die while you're in Aether. And when your life is supposed to drop below 0, your death is delayed upon the exit of the dimension. Here is where the catch, here is where the trap. The devil is in the details. Because if you die in Aether and you try to leave Aether, you will immediately die, for real. So what happens when you really die in Aether and you're stuck there? You become one of the native souls, one of the native spirits rather, that exist there, and unliving. And we shall get to them pretty soon. Again, if you have any questions, live chat, shoot them. I know it's Saturday night after Valentine's Day at the time of this recording. It's not going to be a very hot day to have many viewers. But yeah, if you're watching this in the Aether dimension, I really like this joke, in real life, so that means you're watching on YouTube, drop a comment. I will respond to each and every one with all your questions about this fascinating new dimension and about the locations and the characters and the spoilers we're going to discuss later on. As for the items and locations found there. So yeah, let's go higher layers together, and let's go to a factory that's meant to construct weapons. You can actually use weapons and machines and devices of the future, depending on the layer, should you know how to use them for whatever reason. And but you cannot take them away with you, I'm afraid. So if you take the super laser gun, and you try to go to the material dimension, it will vanish into nothingness. So don't try to enter the material dimension flying on your new sci-fi jet, because once you enter the portal, you will just fall. Because there will be no jet surrounding you. And Aether gates allow cosmonauts to visit higher layers, taking them further into possible futures. While the mechanisms behind their operation, where do these gates, auto-open, because you can obviously open them if you have the appropriate meta powers yourself. But they are theorized to open upon locations where significant future events are bound to occur, like nodes or nexus points. Now, let's talk about the characters and the NPCs and the spirits found within this realm. Again, let's clarify for those that are new to our complex lore. Oh man, my tongue's not working today. Don't so much. No soul that is alive on the material can be correspondingly present in the Aether. So you won't find your relatives old in the layered leather. They won't be there. But you will find your descendants, though, should you are supposed to have. So you may find the unborn souls of your future offsprings and your future relatives, and these are the unborn, the base spirits that exist there. And they are the vast majority, as the most people, given that we're not gonna destroy ourselves like humanity, are supposed to be born in the future, as the future is more vast than our 10,000 years of history or so of our species. So these spirits, these unborn, are part of this simmering light, are part of these white waters of Aether, and they are not much to be interacted with unless you have a special bond, as if one of your descendants. But there are others there. We talked about the unliving, which are in the anima power level, including they have their own meta powers. They may even be possible to manifest themselves or their spirit, pun intended, or the psyche, to be exact, in another dimension. They may be able to open the gates to Aether themselves and navigate and become one with the environment, often losing their memories of life and now accepting this new reality as native extra-dimensional entities of the dimension of Aether. I don't know how complicated this sounds. Probably a lot, judging by a lot of things. But I hope you find it entertaining and chanting and immersive, and it sparks imagination to your brain to tell some amazing stories yourselves. Tales speak of luminescent energy-based entities scanning for probable timelines and harvesting temporal essence, but not many Metanthropes have encountered these beings to tell the tale. These entities rarely interact with Metanthropes, and those who do are so baffled by their alien nature, not alien the term that they're in another planet, like they have nothing to do with us, the way that our species have learned to think and exist, and their purpose is completely unknown to us. And there's also the incarnations. We talk about incarnations of the other two life streams of the other two dimensions, which are essentially one of the most powerful entities that you can find in any dimension, and they usually overlap in power level the protagonists when they're found, unless they're really, really powerful. Supposedly, if you play the whole Anthology saga, like the trilogy of Zines, by the end, as a coalition, a group could encounter like 4-1, one of them, and could be considered a fair fight, but only then. So these incarnations usually take one concept, one ideal, and they become a personification of it as an NPC. I will give you an example, one that I've played numerous times in the past. It is the incarnation of predestination. That means it's whatever is bound to happen, this thing is it. So let's start with that. It knows the future, it knows everything about the players, it knows many things. So it's not like a rock and roll kick your ass type of antagonist, but one that's has both cosmic and psychic powers at a very high level, and it can be very personal and weird to encounter it, because how can you fight your own future? And if that's not enough, there are more secrets to be unraveled in the Aether. Some meta powers have different applications, like the way they are used. They may have bonuses on penalties applied to them, depending on which ones they are. Enchanted meta powers might include Sixth Sense, Dark Energy Projection, and Precognition. Whilst their opposites, those that are tied to a past one or the other way, like retrocognition or ancestral communication, may have a weakened effect. Some speculate that this white shimmering essence in Aether is what human scientists describe as dark energy. So all the matter that's bound to be created in the universe that hasn't been created yet, that is dark energy. Dark energy, again, with the scientific term, which is the 70% of the total energy of the universe. This, like, science, again, not the scientist, just a game designer. And in my game, at least, in Metanthropes, imagine that what could be if, like, only 5% is the matter that exists, is the actual matter. The rest of the 10 to 15% or something, 20, is dark matter, which is the black flames of Nether, which is everything that has been destroyed. So it's more possible, for everything that had been, all matter that has been destroyed to be more than all the matter that currently exists. But surely shades in comparison numerically, when it's compared to the matter that will be created in the future in the entire universe, that is dark energy, and that is the white waters and the shimmering essences that exist in Aether. And if that is not enough, rumors speak of the souls of omnipowered Metanthropes residing in Aether. Stranger tales still speak of collective future ideas manifesting as entities that can be interacted, like super sophisticated artificial intelligences, the concept of the singularity, which is present in this story, on this zine, Aether, and other theoretical constructs like Rocco's Basilisk, if you're aware of it. Something like it's a bit meta, so if you believe in that stuff, maybe don't research it. So all those wonderful and beautiful things can be found in the Aether dimension, and most certainly during your playtime with Metanthropes Anthologies Aether Zine. If you're watching us now live, again, you can check all the funds over there live, and if you have a live pledge, I will scream and shout and let it all out. Keep that in mind as I continue and talk about the Technocratis multiversal faction, which are basically the quest givers of this mission. And sorry, I need to search something really fast. Where we are, chat? Say hello to chat if you're with us. See some people coming and going. As I'm researching something really fast, tell you a little bit more about this multiversal faction, the Technocratis. So let me tell you about these guys. The Technocratis are explorers of the future, driven to uncover timelines far ahead, where cosmic phenomena and technological marvels can be found. Operating primarily in the wondrous Aether dimension, they seek out universes rich in extraordinary cosmic events, alien materials. They pursue groundbreaking scientific and technological discoveries. However, through their extensive exploration, the Technocratis witness firsthand the havoc that unchecked metapowers and metapowered individuals can unleash. This has forged their belief that such powers must be carefully studied and even regulated if need be to safeguard the stability of the multiverse. That gives them a little bit of police vibes for some, arbiters to others, keepers of the peace for thirds, and definitely extremely bright scientific minds, explorers, navigators, cosmonauts, inventors, pioneers, radical thinkers, and many others can be found in their ranks. So, during the story Aether with the Technocrates, you shall learn as a player and as a narrator. As a group, you will discover a little bit more about the greater overarching lore of Metanthropes, the multiverse, the scale of power, and some rules that at the beginning of the story, the beginning of the game, the protagonists are completely oblivious. Rules concerning, like multiversal rules, safeguard you from multiversal threats. So let's get deep into the story. The briefing and the character found there. Samsiel, the concept master Samsiel, power incarnate, I can call her. So this particular story, again, as I'm preparing some stuff to narrate, this particular story takes you in a faraway place, in a faraway time, but most importantly, puts you at a specific time and place where an epoch, a climax of eons, a generational fight, generational war essentially is bound to come to an end. The protagonist shall be there to witness and maybe, just maybe, influence the outcome of this epic clash. So we talked about the two in the red corner and the blue corner situation. We have the alien phytomorphic hive mind, which is essentially like plants who have become sentient and meta-powered and enable themselves to travel through elemental, cosmic, and maybe psychic even means to other planets and start spreading their essence and assimilating entire planets. Such spread like a true uncontrollable force of nature, galaxies, clusters of galaxies, threatening the entire universe where this tale takes place. So, on the other hand, we have our concept master Samsiel, which is, you've seen her, you can see her on various pictures and various forms in the slideshow next to me. And let's talk, before we get deep into here, let's talk about the environment that the players will find themselves once they begin this mission. It is, they will find themselves in a totally alien world, and imagine like watching it through the mask, the HUD, with some numbers and like the glass of the astronaut suit. As you find yourself in an alien environment, the HUD is warning you, warning, that toxic air, it's breathable, but the air is toxic, that no human can survive it. And the environment is so surreal, dominated by intense glow of a massive blue star. So everything has this blue hue, illuminated by crimson and cyan illumination. We don't have like a red sun, like an orange, yellow, whatever you think our sun, the color of heat, has. Imagine like a blue star. And this same star is the one that's powering Samsiel and her solar imitation metapowers, through her solar imitation metapowers. So the sky is washed in deep surreal hues of blue. An alien planet casting a faint azure tint over the landscape where the grass is ripples like skin, and the colors of textures which is more similar to the various shades of human flesh than to any elemental like green, brown and other colors that we expect to see in nature. Instead of soil, the ground is littered with soft organic surfaces beneath your astro boots, like oozing, and maybe you feel like they might, pop, and the ground will fall, cease to exist underneath you. Where there should have been forests, now you find shrubs, bulbous, membranous structures stand like sentinels, others shaped like obelisks, other unexplainable non-Euclidean shapes, their tones shifting between deep purple and dark blue as they pulsate as if they are alive. Rivers of bright orange liquids instead of rivers, electromagnetic surges ripple through the air, creating brief dazzling displays of static and color. Strange roots, jagged and purple, coil, other snakes at the roots of the organism. You cannot be sure of anything. Emitting bursts of heat and gas left and right, spherical bubbles that levitate, translucent orange bubbles that drift lazily upward. This alien atmosphere is alive with sound, odd, resonant hums, warbling sounds, sharp clicks, and guttural echoes, none found or heard in Earth. What a beautiful environment. This environment in particular, I want to be so alien, and these descriptions that you're reading now, like initial first drafts, because I want it to be influenced also by our backers. This is one of the offerings that we are offering to you through our add-on lore or our lore keeper and above reward tiers. You can create canon content for the game, and when it comes to this particular story, you can create your own alien flora and fauna, which means that you can create your own descriptions like the ones that I had, and mechanics, is it filled with acid? Should players avoid these bubbles if they pop? Is like a quicksand of shimmering, broken ice shards, which is like an entity inside, which is like it's like a trap or something. All those things you can include your ideas, which will be in the form of journals and journal entries in the Foundry VTT. But if you're a fan of the physical format, having your beautiful zine in your hands, much like this beautiful introductory zine that I have here with a UV spot. Why it's not shining enough? Well, there it is. So imagine you have those beautiful covers, not the one on the screen right now. Imagine it with UV spot, and you can occupy real estate in the zine, eternalize in the print format with your ideas and credits your name mentioning. Check out our campaign. Where is a faithful Nightbot and where is not, giving the appropriate message on chat. Check out our quick start here. Oops, dyslexia a bit. US. And check out our live campaign. I'm just nudging Nightbot to reawaken. And so we talked about the alien environment. Let's talk about Samsiel, our console master. Role-playing Samsiel, I found it so challenging that I decided not to say any word with her, and during the trailer, the Kickstarter trailer, when she speaks, I decided to include like a voice modification, because there is no way that she will have a normal sounding voice when she can change her vocal cords at will, and she's like a collective, and in no way. Well, let's talk about the basics about her. Oh man, we're already 1 hour in, and I have many things to tell you. Yeah, let's keep on going. but I will leave many things to the imagination. As it seems that I have so many things that I'll tell you, but over 1 hour is quite tiresome during a campaign. So let's talk about Samsel. Samsel was a paragon metanthrope in her timeline. Her prime meta power was biomorphic, allowing her to completely alter her bone structure and organ, her shape at will. Combined with solar imitation taking power from the sun and many other broken meta powers, she reached a level and a form called an eclipse form, where all her stats reached 100% and over. During that epic state of mind, she witnessed the future and she saw that alien hive mind spreading. She became the de facto savior, de facto in her own, how you call them, like not ordeal, like manifestos, which she declared herself like the protector and eventually ruler of mankind and of the Metanthrope nation alike. And as the years go by, leading to the inevitable rebellions of humans and Metanthropes against her, some Metanthropes siding with her, recognizing her as the like a god emperor of mankind, should I say, a little bit of Dune there, and the others seeing her as a tyrant, and maybe possibly a mad tyrant, who have seen a phantom threat that exists out there millions of light years away. And why should we follow her? Why should we even believe her if we cannot see or feel this threat? And generation past, dozens of years, conflict, civil war, and eventually Samsel decides to hide from the rest of humanity. This is like, again, a bit of a spoiler territory. She hides in the middle of the ocean and allows humans and Metanthropes to do their own thing, tired of this internal conflict and internalizing to reach a probably high level to lead Metanthropes and humans alike to the future. Metanthropes elevate humanity, take them to the stars, like this is again a generational saga by the moment that the players enter it, and all this like pre-recorded history that they will find through an NPC called the Chronicler, a living and one of the unliving that we mentioned earlier, but also an unliving that was once a member of the Sumerian kings, another faction. It's like they record all the history. So through her recordings in the form of analog scrolls, you can find and read this story. Or if you connect and communicate somehow with Samsel, or even maybe her fatal enemy, this is all up for grabs how the players will learn all this exposition. And eventually humanity meets this alien. Again, there's not enough time to tell the whole story. Many revolutions, Samsel returns, eventually humanity gets wiped out, RIP humanity, and Metanthropes, again civil wars among Metanthropes. They meet this alien organism, they see and perceive Samsel as the ultimate threat. Some of them, others finally see this threat that their ancestors probably warned them about. Epic clash happens throughout the stars, talking about like maybe thousands of years of history, up until we reach the penultimate moment when Samsel is forced to consume and absorb body, mind, and soul, the remaining Metanthropes, in order to face her archenemies, herself. And on the other hand, this, it's a base race with the alien hive mind spreading through the galaxy, and one entity representing everything that's left. Samsel opening portals, sending her tentacles to kill strategic locations across a battlefield that's an entire timeline, winning ground, losing ground, battle waging, and on the climax of the battle of this epoch, it's a moment that the protagonists arrive. So, summarize and close this live stream. Thank you so much for watching us live. if you're with us. If you have any questions, I won't go anywhere. I will stay here and answer them for you. But this tale is all about the price of power. It's all about identity and the loss of identity, lost in a hive mind, in a collective mind. It's about individuality. Has a lot of lore and story and geopolitical inter-timeline conflicts. Has high stakes, high octane battles with aliens, and generally discovering and exploring an alien world full of wonders, remnants of alien technology and alien civilization. Of human technology, human civilization. That's much more interesting and found in an alien world. And this cautionary tale of unchecked meta powers and what can happen. Why the technocrats put this ban, this veto on meta powers and combos. What the truth is behind this, and which are the threats that may spread out dissonance across the cosmic symphony. I have been your host and narrator, John. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed these amazing sci-fi stories and concepts. I hope you participate in them, bring your own ideas, create canon content, be a supporter, be a backer on our live campaign. I will give, just for the moment's sake, a few moments back in case we have a live backer, a live supporter. And right now we had last live stream, I said the same, and someone backed us the moment that I closed. So maybe I just convince someone to back us right now, and I will give them some time to get some laughs from our live reaction. Let's spend a Destiny for that in my game. If you spend Destiny, you will Destiny on your side. But let's say if I make a nice roll over here, 100, that's a nice roll. So maybe it was enough to convince the narrator of real life. This is all fun and games. I hope you enjoyed it. QP also rolls here. Hope this gave you a lot of fruitful thought and cool ideas to implement to your game. I hope you bring yours to our game in the form of amazing alien description of alien worlds. We're like something like a week, or one more week. Our campaign is ongoing. We're 70% there. Let's make it to the 100% goal by the end of it. Thank you everyone for watching. I have been your host and editor, John, and as always, stay legit and stay meta.